What does The Adventures of Junk Food Dude, the book, have to do with health and wealth? Well, we're going to cover that in part 3, so make sure to watch this video all the way until the end to get all of the juicy details.
I made like a decision last year. I need to, no matter how much I make a month, I'm gonna put 5% of it aside.
Very good.
Yeah, it just, I just made just took out the calculator, just, calculated all my income and just took that 5% and put it aside. And I also just recently started to contribute to the IRA.
IRA?
Yeah, exactly. So that's also just $150 a month, which seems like a small amount, but I think that has more return, right? Than me just putting that 5% I'm putting aside is just for emergencies, basically. It's just like an emergency fund.
Cash flow, if you needed it,
Yeah, exactly. So just to be there. So I'm very proud of myself in a sense of doing something with my finances in that sense, because it is, coming up fast when you need to think about it. I don't know if we can get into this topic, but like this morning, my husband applied for another health insurance because past year we've been paying $1,600 a month just for health insurance. For health insurance that we don't really. Because we have pretty much taken care of our health. We eat really well. I've never eaten junk food in my life, right? So we have the oils and other things. My husband needs it because he has some health issues. He wants to be covered. He said it's very irresponsible to be without it. Even though I get this real angry feeling inside that I'd rather pay the penalties other than pay this. I get very, very angry. So now he applied for another one that we got to reduce it to $1,100 a month for health insurance that we still don't really need much. And my husband needs to go for another little mini surgery. And now he finds out that that surgeon that he wants won't take the old one and also doesn't accept the new one. So there is just no way out. I just think in this country you cannot afford to be at all, like no matter what. It's just it's just I hope that part, that's I really look at the health and finances. I think investing into my health. I invest at least $400 a month. I'm investing into my oil.
Well, on that subject, and I have to tell you because we had the green smoothie girl. It was the reason why we got into the oils and the nutrition of life was green smoothie girl. And when I first met Amira, Sophie was 5?
She was 5.
5?
Maybe even 4.
And you had the Junk Food Dude book.
Yeah.
And you read that to her since she was 3 or
something like
very
that.
little. And so she read that book to me at 5 or 6 years old. She knew that book by heart. And we even taught.
I remember that. Okay.
Oh, I was so impressed. And we even taught a class at the library.
Yes,
Sophie taught the class for us to other kids. Like
that's right. She got paid for it even. She got
paid
her for it. That's right. That was
And we went on to teach that class and other in businesses and stuff at the library as well. And so I had the book, but I didn't have. My kids were older, they weren't going to listen, and I didn't have the grandkids at the time, and so I've had the book, and now just like a couple of weeks ago, month ago, now the grandkids are 3 and 4 years old. I'm like, okay, they're going to sit down and, listen to a book. I read that book to them one time. They loved it.
Oh, wow.
And Liam, who's 3, every day talks about that book. And every day he goes, Mimi, I didn't have any sugar today. Mommy did. Mommy had some sugar. He tells on people if they had sugar, and he says, this is healthy, this isn't healthy. And they just
that shows something. Yeah, that's how actually we can influence our children from a very small age, whether it's health or food or even finances, because you can even teach them to make
Early
better
on.
choices in
Yeah.
everything, and how to put aside, how to manage your health and how to manage your money.
And I don't expect, as they're with their friends in school, and their parents may not eat the best, that they're not going to eat some sugar and some junk food. They do, obviously, but even now that he got sick, I could really relate because of the boy in the book that was very sick all the time. Now I can say, see, they can see the correlation between eating sugar. You never know when your body it's too much sugar, and then all of a sudden you're sick. And so I'm like, no sugar, you're gonna get sick. And so now it's really hitting home. He's like, oh my gosh, she's right, I'm sick. No more sugar, no candy.
And you know what happened to Sophie? Sophie's now 10, right? So she's she's never really seriously been. So never in her 10 years, we haven't never been to a doctor or anything. But now she had also, because she goes around with friends, and she tries to be very, very good, and she's not used to eating a lot of these. But sure enough, there is some, after Halloween, when we had few candies, and I want her to have some social life.
Yeah.
Sure enough, she had a pimple, like few pimples come up right on her chin. And I just showed Sophie this, look how much sugar can make a difference right away in few days in your skin. It was, and she was like, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "That's honey, that's sugar." That's it.
So what you eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she had like a very first. It's almost good to have these experiences to really show you.
Yeah.
Yes,
How
like
quickly?
really, how quickly would that happen? Because she's really, really clean, right? So we're clean eaters and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
I know my daughter, well, she was talking about, if she tried to take him to the doctor and get the antibiotics, which I think it's in liquid form at that age. I don't even totally know, but I think it's in liquid
There are a
form they
few
give him,
options.
and so she's like, he wouldn't even take it. He would spit it out. He would refuse it. Sophie's like that too. Like, she won't take the medicine, and so she's like, what would be the point of going to the doctor, paying all the fees, getting the medicine, and he will spit it out? I wouldn't even be able to get it down him. And so, but he was in the bath the other night when he was, and he goes, "Mommy, I love my oils." I'm like, oh, he's like this tough little 3-year-old boy. Oh, he's and he's like, I love my oils.
Oh, he has that gentle
Very
side
cute.
to him.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
So
So
absolutely.
it's just amazing.
No, when she was younger, now we're talking kids, I guess. So when she had the growing, it was so new to us that we didn't know what to do yet. I didn't know exactly what to use, and then she was. So my husband came out with and I came out with frankincense, right? And Sophie, she's like, no, no, I'm not taking that. She grabbed that frankincense immediately, and I actually timed it. I put frankincense on her legs where it was hurting. She was screaming off top of her lungs. It was so bad, the way she was holding in a fetal position. She was holding her knees in, and I timed it. Then from the frankincense, it took 4 minutes, and she was back asleep.
Yeah,
That's now I'm thinking it would have taken at least 15-20 minutes to kick in, plus the damage that it does to your liver, plus did you see now that it might be completely get bent because they have proven what it does to the lining of the intestines.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Really bad for the lining of our intestines. Wow. There you go. That came out as of course it's not going to go mainstream because I'm not going to let that happen, but there's an article that came out. So that's kids know. The point is, kids intuitively also know if they're not being, if they're being introduced, if they can know and see the difference, which is including foods and including everything, and also their mindset of how you talk about. How you talk about even money and wealth. It depends. The patterns that you teach them in early is money bad and money. Rich people are bad and thirsty. That's the kind of thing they're gonna believe. They have to know that with money you can do a lot of good things. Imagine all the good things you can do with money. Same with the food thing. That's your investment into future. That's now how you choose your. Do you go the mainstream? Do you go the natural way? We can influence all that. Oh my gosh, I love this conversation.
Yeah, I know. So like,